come on in the room. Bucks win it tonight, 111-99 against the Charlotte Hornets. Look, JT, we're trying to go platinum with no features tonight. Trey Crosby III in the building in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's the CCC tour. Everybody's everywhere. I'm over here at Dayton games, JT going to Marquette games, and Trey Crosby III. He deserved a break, though, JT. I mean, for sure. He's been doing all the shows, and it's time for me to, be his apprentice and kind of anchor this thing. We are live. There we go. It's Chris King.
Why you make it sound like we just the dudes on the label, man? Like, okay, right? Like, well, we'll be like we just some dudes on the label. We be on everybody's song and everybody's videos, but we ain't really making music like that. Why are you trying to make us sound like that, man?
Nah, I don't think that way. I think we can anchor this thing. Big win, 4-0 after the All-Star break. 4-game win streak for the Milwaukee Bucks. Doc Rivers back to 7-7. His career record with the Bucks. It's great. It's Chris King.
JT.
There we go. We got just 2 of the 3, but glad to be here. Glad to give you guys post-game. We'll be on tomorrow night as well versus the Chicago Bulls, another back-to-back. But listen, just so happy that we were able to get this win tonight against the Charlotte Hornets. Trey, hey, look, you can kind of expand on this a little bit too, JT, but Trey was talking about, it's going to be a trap game this week between us and the Hornets. One of these 2 games is going to be a trap game. Well, Trey, 2-0 versus the Charlotte Hornets. JT, what you got?
Listen, man, this is the second time we beat the Hornets by at least 20 points. The first time, and Pat Beverly told y'all, belt to ass tour continues. Yes, right? The only difference tonight is the first time we beat that ass, it was more like, I don't know, for those of our listeners who got beat with belts when you were younger, how your parents start talking to you like, did not tell you not to, right? And they snapping them cheeks with the belt, right? That's the tonight that didn't quite end up that way, right? 111-99. And again, as you were saying before the show, this is the 5th time this Bucks team has held a team to under 100 points, which is, man, I love it. We're absolutely rolling. 100% got to attribute that to Doc. I thought tonight was a good thing, man. I thought tonight the Bucks came out from the jump, really kind of came out swinging here, right? Not as much momentum as the other night, but obviously in that first half, I mean, you saw this Bucks team. My opinion, every single stat was where it needed to be, right? They shot 54% from the field, 55% from the field. Mm-hmm. You saw the team shoot 50% from 3, 88% from the free throw line, dominated the rebound battle, and it was just palpable, right? Even talking about from the jump coming out the gate, that first half, man. You had Malik Beasley was getting a little warm, right? 4 for 7, 11 points. Even Damian Lillard, 3 for 6, 12 points. Now, I'm not going to harp on Dame because it didn't finish that way, right? The numbers kind of went in the wrong direction there towards the end, but I still thought, like you said, Dame played hard on both sides, and he still helped this team. Brook Lopez was a little up and down. Giannis coming out, 8 for 10 in that first half as well. And Jay Crowder, 1 for 3. Right. Mm-hmm. However, the most important thing is the score was 71-50. So this Bucks team just did not let up off the gas. Right? Now, conversely, to end this game, Giannis ends with 24 tonight in 33 minutes, which I thought was a little bit long for him to play. But this team kind of did try to stick around towards the end. So okay, Dame ends up with 17 and 6. Brook ends up with 11 and 3. But my guy who we are going to talk about, who I think is our first topic, Malik Beasley. Mm-hmm. Hey, Malik Beasley get hot, and it changes the trajectory of the game in a heartbeat. Malik Beasley tonight, beautiful, 5 for 9 from 3, 19 points, 2 rebounds, 7 for 12 from the field. And then I also thought you did, again, I'm going to say this, you kept Bobby Portis. He kept this thing rolling, right? 5 for 11, so efficiency, pretty good there. But again, 14 points. And what do we say when Bobby's not getting buckets? Bobby can't ball. Guess what? Bobby Buckets has been showing up now. Well, this is the 7th game. I think that's right? 7th, 8th game. Bobby Buckets has been showing up. Shot selection been looking a lot better. Been looking a lot more consistent. Patrick Beverly tonight. Hey man, listen. Patrick Beverly has 9 points. It's a good night. That's all you expect from him. You don't expect. All you need Patrick Beverly to do is what he's been doing. And again, man, Pat Connaughton. I got to get Pat Connaughton. Listen, not a great shooting night, right? 3 for 9, 2 for 7, right? Glad a few went in. I don't know if we need to spread the minutes out, but that's kind of what I saw tonight.
Yeah, good stuff, and we'll get into the numbers with this thing. But first, JT, when you need defense, where?
Off the court.
Off the court. Yep. Let's give a big thanks to our sponsors. The Law Office of Daley M. Johnson, serving Central and South Central Wisconsin criminal justice and injunction defense, traffic OWI. We just big thanks to Daley M. Johnson that, helps us keep this thing rolling. So what I saw from tonight, obviously 111-99 victory over the Charlotte Hornets. Complete the season sweep. Hey, we need to cue the Trey Crosby the third gifs of the sweep. Hey, do you know the backstory behind that, by the way, JT? Before I get into this,
I don't know nothing about that. I just know that's Trey being Trey. Maybe next time he's on the show, we'll have to ask him how that thing happened. But I think the team even tweeted that before. Yeah. Trey Crosby, what's he hitting? 3 broom sweeps and then a couple claps.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it is. He's got it. For those of you that don't know, he's got it pinned to his Twitter account. So TCIIESQ on Twitter. Go check him out. Obviously, he's got all the Bucks content, and he's got that pinned. And the Bucks complete the season sweep. Just glad to honestly not be playing the Hornets anymore. Very uninspired games. I mean, we take care of business. We handle them. And it looked like we just overpower them. And that's what you like to see against bad teams. That's what is something that I don't think the Bucks did early on in the season, is just overpower some of these bad teams. But it's good to see the Bucks just play good basketball versus a bad team and make sure that they could take care of business for 4 games. Jay Crowder, 4 points, 2 of 5 from the field. Giannis, 24 and 10. You just can't get enough of that guy. 10 of 15 from the field. He did a great job tonight. 11 points from Brook Lopez, 3 of 9. We'll get into Brook as well because I thought he had some opportunities to kind of take advantage of just the size presence down low versus an inferior front court of the Charlotte Hornets, and I just don't think he did that. Damian Lillard, 5 of 14, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. I thought Damian Lillard did a good job impacting the game on both sides of the ball, though. Obviously, the shooting numbers weren't there, but he's been great so far past the All-Star break, and he's impacting the game in other ways. He had a couple of steals tonight that really helped the Bucks get out in transition, moving the ball. It was great. And then Malik Beasley, 19 points, 7 of 12 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3. He was just magnificent, and it seems like every game now you're starting to see Malik Beasley just be automatic. Like you expect these threes to go in when he's open. I love that from Malik. The bench played decently well. I thought Bobby Portis, he's been really good post All-Star break too, consistent, choosing his shots a lot better. 14 points, 10 rebounds tonight. Bobby did a good job. Pat Beverly got a lot of minutes. He was in the 20s in this game, helped close it out in the fourth quarter. And I think you saw a little bit of just the rotations with Pat Bev and Dame being able to close out the game. I really like that, and I think that there's a kind of a difference between having a campaign and Damian Lillard out there than Pat Bev and Damian Lillard, because you actually have a smart point guard that doesn't want to just shot hunt, that doesn't want to just score, and you get that with Pat Beverly. And he did a good job anchoring the offense, anchoring the defense. He does his thing out there. I think that's a really good look from Doc Rivers. Pat Connaughton, 3 of 9, didn't shoot it well, 11 points though. So it was good stuff. And then on the opposite side, Charlotte, Brandon Miller had it going in the first half, but the Milwaukee Bucks did a good job of getting somebody out there on him, making sure he was getting tough looks, and I think they held him to 21 after I think he had 14 or 16, something like that in the first half. So a good job there. And then Charlotte didn't shoot it well outside of that. Their starting lineup, who has been pretty decent over the past couple of games before the Bucks, Trey Mann went 4 of 10. Miles Bridges went 6 of 18, 1 of 7 for 3. Those guys were chirping too. I didn't like that. I thought that they need to know your role. Like what did Travis Kelce say to the Cincinnati mayor that one time? Know your role and shut up. So that's what Miles Bridges and them had to do tonight. They were bad. Grant Williams, my goodness, man, the guy. It seems like all his threes just go in against the Bucks. I don't get it. He went from one of the showing flashes of being a really good 3-and-D defender and scorer when we played them in the playoffs in 2022, I think it was, and he shot really well in that Boston versus Milwaukee series, and then he just fell off. So just disappointing when he's able to get it going versus the Bucks. I don't get it because he's really not all that. Seth Curry had 13 off the bench, but other than that, yeah, good win, 111-99. So good stuff there. Let's read some of the comments. Let's see what the YouTube guys got for us. A dude says, nice game, solid win, but would have liked to seen them finish stronger with better D. Pre last 5 minutes by the bench. Okay. Robert Henry, great win, sweep of Hornets. I know Trey enjoyed the game. Now need to beat the Bulls tomorrow in Chicago. Brenda Word said, "Hey fellas, TC hasn't made it home from the game yet. I need him to come on in the room." Dang. See, hey, JT and I got us on the post game. We got you guys.
Hey man, tell TC. Hey, you know what? Matter of fact, we got something special for y'all. We got some commentary for TC. You want me to run that?
Yeah, go ahead and run that since we're on the game recap. Since we're on the game recap.
Let me go ahead and run this commentary from TC.
From the Beehive. Hey man, it's a beautiful game tonight. Bucks ball movement was beautiful. Again, we call him Black Bud, man. Doc Rivers doing his thing. Dame, I liked it. What I liked was that Doc kept Dame in the game a little bit longer, just so that he had struggled getting a shot going tonight. But I thought he played an okay game. I thought he played good defensively. Everybody did their part tonight. I still don't know what Danilo Gallinari does. You saw Malik Beasley hitting shots all night long. You just can't guard everybody. You just can't stop them. Great job, Charlotte. Put up a little bit more of a fight tonight. But hey, man, these Bucks are good. They're rolling. Let's go beat Chicago tomorrow night. I'll be back on the program tomorrow night against the Bulls. Y'all guys have a great show. And my game ball goes to Giannis, man. He's just facilitating, doing everything he can do, everything you could ask for an MVP candidate to do, who is leading this Milwaukee Bucks team. They look rejuvenated, like a whole different team right now. So, good win, man. We're going to enjoy this one. And we've been drinking just a little bit. I've been drinking watermelon. What is it? Yeah. Hey, we here with Justin from NC. We in the building. What's good?
We in there. We running through everybody. We not scared of Boston. We not scared of anybody. It's the Bucks year. Trey gonna be on the gosh darn float. You heard it.
There we go. So
hey
so
man, there you go. So y'all got your message. You got your message from your man TCIII ESQ@gmail.com, the guru. Which, by the way, how many drinks in you think Trey was when he did that recap? What you think? At least 3 or 4? I'm thinking at least 3 or 4.
I might take the over on that because Trey did say he was at the bar, and I think that was in the first quarter when Thanasis was assessed with the technical off the bench when I was talking to him. So hey, he might be more than 3 or 4 deep, but it's good stuff. Hey,
well deserved, man. Well deserved.
Yeah, well deserved break from Trey Crosby. Dude says opening quarter passing was superior. Would have liked to see more of that in the start of the fourth. Dame's defense, exclamation points. Yeah, Dame was good on defense. Brenda Word says, I love listening to you guys a lot too. I learn a lot. Hey, thank you, Brenda. We appreciate you tuning in. King of King says Bobby and Pat Bev is some dogs. Yeah, I thought they did a good job on both sides of the ball. Bobby has really impressed me against inferior defenses. I think he's doing what I want Brook to do in the sense that he's taking advantage of mismatches down low, and he's knocking down open layups, taking advantage of smaller guys, and pause. But yeah, he did a good job. And one thing Trey talked about in that voice message was Malik Beasley. There was a stat that says in a single season, Malik Beasley has had 15 games where he's knocked down 5 threes. And he did that tonight, added to the total. He's first in Bucks franchise history in that, just his first season with the Milwaukee Bucks. JT, what do you think it is about Malik Beasley that's just allowed him to thrive so much in this offense?
Well, and before I go there, I will say this though, right? Like, so apparently the Bucks, right now, I just look at this now. You realize they beat the Hornets by 38, 36, and 31 in the other 3 games, and then of course this one's by what, 21? I mean 20, yeah, 22,
12.
I mean 12. My bad, 12. I'm looking at the wrong thing. You're right, 12. Woo, woo.
It's all good.
Ooh, I need to go to bed.
We played him so
man.
much,
Ooh.
man. I get it. I get it.
You're right. Now, what I think about Malik Beasley, what I like about Malik Beasley is that he can shoot this thing from anywhere, right? He literally can shoot this thing from anywhere, and when he gets hot, it's almost like this thing gets automatic, right? So I like the fact that Malik Beasley, and it's a mismatch thing because everybody's keying on Giannis and Dame offensively, right? So all Malik Beasley has to do is listen, man. You find your spot, we're gonna get it to you, right? It's a little bit like we've replicated that with Derrick Bird. Listen, find your spot, we're gonna get it to you. You're gonna get your look, pull it. If you get a good look, pull it, and you give him that green light, right? He's only going to get X amount of touches a game because obviously you have two of the top 75 players of all time, and then when Chris Middleton comes back, but it really turns out to a pick your poison because if you start if you start doubling Dame, he's open. You start doubling GA, most likely he's going to be open, right? And the thing I love the most about this Malik Beasley thing, though, is think about when Chris Middleton comes back. Now you got another sharpshooter out there on the perimeter. So literally, there's always a mismatch. But what I really like about him is he takes advantage of this mismatch. And for the most part, he's been taking advantage of his opportunities. I mean, for a long time, for the majority of the season, he was leading the league in three-point percentage. So, you 100% have to appreciate that about him. But one thing I want to say about Malik Beasley that I think everybody forgets, you realize when he was in LA, he was averaging – wait, was it? I'm sorry. I don't know. Maybe he went to LA. It was 2019 through 2021. He was averaging about 20 points per game. So Malik Beasley has been a bucket for a little while now. This is his role now to just be a 3-point sharpshooter. But Malik Beasley has a lot of talent offensively.
Yeah, and we certainly saw that too. Like towards the end of the game, I thought him and Dame, and it might have just been a couple of possessions, but just playing smart basketball. And I think they're really buying into their roles now. I mean, some of our role players in terms of Malik Beasley and guys like a Bobby Portis and stuff like that, they're really buying into the roles, and they're playing really smart ball to where, yeah, the Hornets went on a run or they were getting shots to fall, but they know when to attack. They know when to just play basketball, be out there and make smart decisions. And I think you saw that a little bit tonight with Dame and Beasley. If the three ball wasn't falling from Dame, well, then he was getting to the rim. Beasley, if they closed out too hard, he was going to get to the rim. And so I think a lot of that is just being experienced and bringing that to this Bucks team. And, I've seen some commentary about, Malik Beasley can probably get paid. Malik Beasley can probably leave after this because we know this is a veteran. I don't know if it's a veteran minimum, but it's something.
I think he's on a 1 year. I want to say it's like $2-3 million. It's not much, right? Yeah. He's obviously outplayed his contract.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's outplayed his contract for sure. But I do wonder, JT, is this a situation where Malik Beasley would rather maybe take another pay cut and then wait another year for the Bucks to maybe pay him because he's so good in this offense?
So you mean like sort of kind of do the Bobby Portis?
Yeah.
When Bobby was balling for the Bucks and his market value skyrocketed, and Bobby kind of did what he could do to stick around. I think Malik Beasley is a lot younger than Bobby was when that decision was made. What's Malik Beasley right now? 26, 25? How old is Malik Beasley? Do we know? I mean,
yeah, I think he's like 27, 28, something like that.
I was going to say, if only I had a computer in my hand that would actually tell me a player's age, right? Like, I mean,
yeah, he's on the younger side, but I think Bobby Portis was around that same age.
27.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on if you're Malik Beasley, right? Do you want to play for a perennial championship contender? And the question is, will other perennial championship contenders be recruiting you, right? Will other perennial championship contenders trying to sign him? I would imagine he's going to get a lot of looks from a lot of guys, but do you want to go to a team like Charlotte that is trash, right? Like, you want to go play with my man in San Antonio, right? And probably most likely finish bottom 3 in for the Spurs for a couple of years. Like, do you want to do that and chase the bag, or do you want to stay with a team like Milwaukee and see if you can continue to build your market value, sign a 2-3 year deal, and then, see what happens when you hit 30. There's definitely going to be options there. I would love to see this Bucks team make an earnest effort at re-signing Malik Beasley because I think he's 100% overplayed his contract, and he certainly is worth every penny that we're paying him. Not sure where he averages out. I haven't been on Spotrac to figure out what they're projecting him to get, right? Mm-hmm. I don't want to overpay for Malik Beasley, but I certainly want the Bucks to make a competitive offer.
Yeah, I think just the biggest thing about this, too, is the fact that Malik Beasley has been consistent for basically a whole season now. He did have a slump that I think he's bringing himself out of within, the past couple of weeks. But I think that's the biggest thing you're looking forward to when you get into the playoffs, is a guy who is reliable, because we know what teams game plan for when you head into the playoffs. The Giannis wall, they're making sure he can't get into the paint, and he's going to have to knock down these threes. What would you say your confidence level is in Malik Beasley to kind of keep this thing rolling and just be a consistent shooter when it comes to playoff time?
8-10, 100% 8-10. From what I've seen, right? You saw a slump for December, January, a bit of February, but The thing is, Chris, this team still is not rolling. Like this team still is not at 100%. You still haven't. I'm looking at Malik Beasley, how everybody's kind of stepping up in the absence of someone who's injured. Listen, man, you get him in a position where literally his role is just, again, his role is what it is right now. But then you get Chris Middleton back, who's also getting looks and also drawing defenders. I don't see why Malik Beasley can't do this for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a lot of confidence in him, and I think the big part of that is just how open he is and how automatic he's been. I think the corner threes are that's his best look, and I think that's a great spot to have a guy just chilling in there while teams are gearing up for Giannis into the playoffs. So let's get to some of the Twitter comments. I Like Buck says, Giannis was serious about making the three-point shooting contest someday. Look, I've seen Giannis start to knock down some open threes. I don't know if that's something you can rely on, but definitely he's actually turned it on a little bit from three in the limited attempts that he's been getting. T from Franklin says, Bud Jr. has this team rolling. Do not care if it's Charlotte, and with the gif of they see me rolling. Yeah, I mean,
that's pretty good.
Bud Jr. I don't know. I'm hearing the new nickname is Black Bud.
Maybe Black Bud. They call him Black Bud, right? Which I mean. Boy, Doc is a character in and out of itself. I think that's a hilarious nickname, right? I hope we can do better than Black Bud, but if it's what sticks, it's what sticks. Side note, though, right? And I don't want to get too far misaligned, though. I got to talk about. Did you catch that play with Brook Lopez, the Shaq in the Fool moment? What was that?
Yes.
Catching the ball on the fast break. Whose idea was it to get that man the ball, a little bit before half court, and then have him come down and facilitate, or I guess dictate the direction this thing was going? What was that?
So let's stick there for a little bit, because I do want to just talk about. So he put up a goose egg on Tuesday versus the Hornets, and didn't shoot it all that well tonight. Didn't make really great decisions. Let's talk about the fact that Brook Lopez. I think that he needs to post up on the block a little bit more against inferior front courts, like I mentioned earlier. I think that a lot of times we see him out there settling for threes that he doesn't need to be taking. I know Brook is a proven shooter in this league. I know he's a stretch five and about as good as a stretch five is in the league. But is there any reason why he's not getting down into the paint and just shooting that little post hook or whatever he thrives at? Because a lot of times he's in either transition, like you said on that clip, or he's doing this slow drive off of a pump fake from the three-point line, and it's easy to guard, JT. So, what have you seen from these past two games? Why do you think Brook has struggled like that?
I agree. I mean, shot selection, man. Shot selection 100%. But the thing about Brook sometimes it gets a little bit frustrating is that and I think previous years we saw Brook as that bruiser, right? As that huge 7-footer that's really stout, right? Hard to move, and just plays kind of that throwback basketball that we're used to. Really trying to describe this in the right way without getting without you pausing me. So I'm gonna keep trying to make this thing happen, right? But we just saw Brook as someone who could move guys around, right? Who could certainly make contact and be really physical down low. And now it just kind of feels like Brook is playing AAU ball, man. Listen, everybody's chucking threes, man. I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna go ahead and get some. Hey, man, I'm a career 35% three-point shooter. I'm gonna make sure you see me take my attempts at this thing. This isn't a gimmick for me. It's maddening at times, right? Because I agree with you. It's like, listen, you can easily dominate your man down low. Why not take a higher percentage shot, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know, man. I think that's one of the confusing things about Brook's game at this point is that he really just is trying to prove that he's a shooter. And granted, he's a 35% career three-point shooter, so I get it. But sometimes I just feel like it's forced. Side note tonight, though, hey, man, he made 3 shots. He also had 3 blocks.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and I think on Tuesday, he actually went into second place in Bucks franchise history in blocks. So shout out to Brook doing it on both ends. We like to see it. It's really been the reason why this Bucks defense has been good too, is the fact that he's just so lengthy down there, and he's always making it tough on opposing offenses to get shots up. So certainly no problems there on the defensive end from Brook. Mark Fahey says, I am a 57-year-old season ticket holder from Portage, Bucks and Packers. I always hate the ride home. So-called fans calling in and bitching about a win. I like what I see. Go Bucks. Yeah, I think a lot of fans are very critical of some of the Bucks' regular season success sometimes against bad teams because they've seen Mike Budenholzer really pose their will as just a great regular season team. But I think, like you said earlier on in the season, JT, you got to take the nitty with the gritty, right? So, or the pretty with the what was it?
Yeah, I'm about to say,
yeah.
But you know what though? I mean, it's awfully close. But I think the reality of it though is that I agree, right? And Bucks Twitter, the Bucks fan base, there's a lot of discourse, right? We complain about and this is these are first world problems for the most part when we're complaining about our squad, right? You have teams in the NBA that are absolutely atrocious. And sometimes we can be very critical about the way in which we're winning. And it's kind of what we do. I wish it was not the case, but I think the reality of it is that every win is not going to be pretty. And I'm fine if we don't blow everybody out by 20. To be honest, we really don't care until the playoffs. You don't earn your paycheck as a coach with the Bucks coaching Giannis and Dame and Beasley and Middleton and Lopez. You don't earn your paycheck until the playoffs start, right? We're not happy to make it. We're not happy to get the 7th seed, right? We're not what's Cleveland doing? Was it Cleveland unlocking beer, celebrating when they won a playoff game? We're not in that category, right? We are an elite team. We are a championship contender. The regular season is extremely important, but the reality of it is what we care about is the playoffs. So I'm not going to trip about some of these wins, right? The Bucks have a back-to-back tomorrow. If the Bucks beat the hapless Bulls by 3 points, oh well, right? Like at the end of the day, let's look at what they did good, let's look at what they did bad, and let's move on. But dwelling on games because we didn't win by enough. I mean, listen, you guys heard me talk about the margins of victory we had against the Hornets earlier this year. I mean, we beat them like 4 times by at least 25 points. Okay, and so tonight we win by 12. Well, what's the issue?
Yeah, definitely no issue. I just think that, as a good team, as a team that is a championship contender in the past so many years, you're going to have expectations, but it's just good to be on the right side of it now at this point. Doc Rivers 4-0. Past the All-Star break and the Bucks as well. Trey Crosby the third hopping in the YouTube chat saying, chill on my man Brook. Y'all got to stop hating on Brook. Hey, we just expect more. Like I said,
we're not hating on Brook. We just feel like, you're a center. You're a big man. Like, can you do big man things, right? Like, we just don't want to see. And again, it's not a Karl Anthony Towns situation where he almost refuses to do big man things. Karl Anthony Towns is only going to pull up. Nope. I'm not getting my hands dirty and getting down low. Brook doesn't play that way. So it's not a situation like that. But, hey, man, Brook got to get a little closer to the basket. Better shot selection.
Yeah, I agree. Trey also saying Black Bud for the dub. I like it. The hard launch of this Black Bud nickname. JT, you weren't on the show, but I've got some nicknames in my up my sleeve too. I said Pat, Beverly, and Connaughton. That's Pat squared. What do you think about that?
Okay, Pat squared. I give you that. Did you see that? Did you see that All-Star picture? This made me so. I didn't know how to feel about this, but I'm gonna just bring this up to y'all. Y'all seen that picture of Bud, of Doc Rivers, and he got lined up in Indiana.
Well, he got a cut.
Yeah, he got a cut in Indiana. It lined up, right? But it was like, wow, he got the most crisp hairline I've seen for somebody in their 60s ever in history. But it's like nothing else there. Like literally the roof is gone. Hey. The roof is gone, but it's like just enough hair to line it up. And so I love it because it's a distinct hairstyle. It's like, my coach's lineup is much better than yours. He got a better lineup than 99% of players in the league that's 40 years younger, but it's just the supporting cast, right? The hair. It's a little light up there.
That's what it is. That's why he's been so hot outside of All-Star break. He got the lineup. He's feeling himself. He got the confidence. Man, I like it.
Nah, right. He didn't go to sport clubs for it, though. I'll tell you that.
Trey said Doc got to let that hair go. I don't know. I like it. I think he's a good look.
I mean, listen. Just kind of, just Right? It's just kind of one of them things. But you know what, though? If I was 60-something and I had a hairline like that, which I do not and will not, so, let's just know if my hairline was that fresh, I went to the hairport, right? The little airport in Turkey where everybody get their hair done, the little hair restoration. They call it the hairport. Yeah, I went to Hair Jordan.
It's like the BBL for men.
Right. And to my knowledge, Doc, I don't think Doc's done it. So, man, salute for him. And by the way, man, listen, man, I love our listeners and everybody else, but I do have questions about men who get BBLs. Like, I just want to understand why.
That's wild.
Why would you do that? Like, I just don't get it. I don't understand why you would do that.
Hey, people do with their money what they desire. I'll say that. All right, Todd hopping back in the chat. Todd Morrow, last two Bucks Bulls games went to OT. Todd also said Brook has never been a good rebounder, but every team he's been on rebounds better. Okay. Maybe Doc should see what LeBron is doing for the hairline. Al Farouk Aminu for 3. He opted in. What's up, Al Farouk? Stem cells do wonders. There we go.
Stem cells. There it is. It's the hair. It's the grates. I don't know what it is for the hair, but yeah, maybe that's it, man. Maybe.
Yeah. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah. I think it is a big part of why Doc is so confident now. It sparked the courage in him to get in, light a fire under his team, and have this Bucks team rolling 4-0 past the All-Star break. And JT, he gets his record back to 500. At what point do you think this could really be the turning point in the season? I mean, we've already seen some momentum-building wins, and Trey was talking about maybe a trap game. That was just dumb. That was a bad take by Trey. But do you think this could be a real winning streak for this Bucks squad to kind of propel them and go head and shoulders and try to make sure that they can at least get that number 2 seed in the East? Because, I mean, look, they're rolling. They're playing great basketball. Love what I've seen from the Bucks lately. So, yeah, you think this could be a real winning streak? I mean, you got some tough games in the future, but, maybe it could be win your last 9 out of 10. It can be that type of win streak, and it starts with Chicago tomorrow.
So you got this Cleveland Cavaliers team that's in the 2 slot, right? But the Bucks are only a half game behind the Cleveland. So at this point, I mean, 100%, it's definitely. I think the 2 seed is feasible, and I would love to see that, right? Because I think that if you lock down the 2, yeah, if you lock down the 2 seed, who would you face in that first round? I mean, you're probably. I mean, it's hard to. I guess it's hard to tell at this point. And then you got the play-in games too. But at this point, if you lock down the 2 seed, and let's just say, I guess you would probably match up with the Pacers. Either way, right? I'm not scared of them. They've kind of fell apart, right? The 76ers are the 6th seed. I didn't realize that they fought. The Magic are the 8th seed. Oh wow. Yeah. Either way, you lock down the 2 seed. I still think you get a very favorable first round matchup. One thing I'll say about this, though, is look, Doc's won 4 games now. He's now 7 for 7. He's now 500 at this point, right? So when we talked about that, and we talked about the number of games we have left, which I think is around 21 or 20 games left on the season, Doc certainly has the opportunity to finish with momentum here. Not just go 500 in the remaining games, but to actually finish with momentum and go well over 500, which I think is important because you never want, when this team had 25 games left and they were, I don't know, it was a 4-7. We didn't want the team to finish at 500. We wanted to see a bit more. I see a Bucks team that's playing with more confidence. I see a Bucks team that's executing at least a little bit better defensively. I'm seeing guys step up and make plays that have not typically made plays defensively all year. I'm seeing effort. Listen, this is 4 straight wins. I think we get the dub tomorrow. I really do. I think we get the dub tomorrow against the Bulls. I think Monday we have a legitimate shot against the Clippers, right? But I do think, though, if we're going to drop a game, it definitely happens in the next. It's either the Bucks or Warriors. And I think if we're going to drop a game, that's where we drop one. But listen, if we go, we have a stretch where we go 10-1, wonderful, right? We have a stretch where we go 10-1, 8-2, even 7-3. I can live with that.
Mm-hmm. And, the Bucks sitting at 39-21. Going out west is what kind of made Doc Rivers' record the first part of his tenure here before All-Star break. It's kind of what made his record start out poorly. So, obviously, they're going to have games at the Warriors, at the Lakers, at the Clippers, at the Kings, and then they'll return on on the 14th of March versus the 76ers. So I think it is a big opportunity, though, JT, in the sense that you're going to be able to avenge some games that you dropped in the West. Obviously not against some of the same teams, but just those late start times, traveling everywhere around the West and playing some good teams. I think it'll be good for this Bucks team. Just playing contenders, playing some teams that are hot right now. You've seen the Warriors play really well as of late. You've seen, obviously, the Clippers lost to the Lakers last night, blew a lead, but they've been pretty decent throughout this whole season. And some Clipper fans are thinking that it's their year. So I think it'll be a good test for this Bucks team. I think they're going to have to really be on their T's and Q's and really just continue to play winning basketball. I think that's what they've been doing. They're moving the ball really well. They're executing offensively. They're playing good defense, and I think it could be a good road stretch for this team. And just keep those winning ways going. So yeah, it'll be good. What do you think is the biggest thing they need to focus on moving forward when they head out west?
Man, you know what? Last time they went out west, they didn't. Last time they went out west, they didn't practice. Remember, like Doc literally started out. They didn't practice at all, right? It was so. We saw that disappointing loss to Portland, you name it. And then they were like, oh, yeah, Doc's only had, I think, one practice with this team. It's like, all right, well, and that was like the Saturday before. So you saw that. So this time, though, what I want to see is the Bucks, again, chase that consistency, right? Let your guys – I want to see Malik Beasley be consistent. I want to see Dame keep up this effort on defense. I 100% want to see – now, I want them to figure out these rotations because I personally feel like you have to get your bench more involved. And listen, man – Derry Bird's got to touch this court. This has just got to happen. I would like to see that, right? I would like to see Derry Bird touch the court. I want to see Bobby continue to be consistent with his shot selection as well, right? Because you need some help off that bench. So yeah, those are some of the bigger things that I want to look at over this next stretch.
Yeah, Al-Farouq Aminu for three also hops in. Good point. They got the Celtics, too, on March 20th, so it's going to be a tough stretch throughout. They got the Suns right in between the game between the Sixers and the Celtics as well. It's going to be a tough month of March, but I think this is really going to have this Bucks team battle-tested and looking at an attempt to be playing their best ball late, and that's what we wanted to see from the start of All-Star break. We just wanted this team to be playing its best ball come March, April, and I think you've really kind of seen the first steps of that in terms of just the eye test of watching this basketball team. So it will be a test going forward, and I'd love to see the Bucks just at least be competitive and keep it going. And I want to touch on this as well. Todd says, I think Chris may be back tomorrow. I think he plays tomorrow and comes off the bench. He didn't make the trip to Charlotte tonight. Didn't need him. Got the dub. Did what we needed to do. Taking care of business. But that's one thing I need to ask you, JT, is like, how do you implement Chris Middleton back into this lineup? Because this team is rolling. It is 4-0 past the All-Star break. It is a team that's playing some of their best ball of the season. How do they implement him back in when they ramp him up? What does that look like?
Listen, this may be unpopular, and I'm willing to take the heat for it. I bring him back off the bench. I bring him back in off the bench at this point, right? And depending on the injury and managing that, I don't need you to play 30 minutes tomorrow night. I don't need you to play 25 minutes. If you want to come back first game off and he plays 15, cool. Provided that he's healthy, provided there's not an issue, right? You can ease him back in. Sure, he'll get plenty of chance to play probably later next week as well. But I would start with bringing him off the bench. Like Klay Thompson was good enough to do it coming off injury. Chris Middleton good enough to do it coming off injury, right? This team is starting to gel, and you're starting to see it. You're starting to see these roles. You're starting to see guys come out. I think Chris can only help you, right? I don't think that Chris coming back is going to be of any detriment to this team at all. I think Chris can only help you. Having said that, why force him? Why force it his first game back?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think just bringing him off the bench gives you a nice new look of what this Bucks team can, what its ceiling can be, what it's ultimately going to be at playing your best ball and bringing in a former All-Star and a guy who has just been so consistent throughout regular seasons of his career. Whose minutes do you think it impacts directly if they're giving him a full ramp up and he does end up back into that starting lineup, which seems like that's probably inevitable?
Crowder's. I think Jay Crowder. I mean, most likely, I think you probably maybe not his first night back, but when you slide him back in that lineup, I gotta think Jay Crowder goes back to the bench. Even though Crowder's been playing better, right? Especially much better defensively, right? Offensively, he's been a bit all over the place. But that's my guess. Is I think Crowder's minutes are probably cut. The question I have though is, if Chris comes off the bench, does Pat's minutes get cut?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. He's been playing I will say Pat Connaughton has been playing pretty well after the All-Star break. Obviously didn't shoot it all that well tonight. Hasn't really shot it that well in general, but I think he is getting back to that, just impacting the game in other ways. So, his minutes may be impacted by Chris's return, but then that trickles down, right? Then that means that AJ Green may not ever see the floor. You know, we don't know if Doc is going to be a guy who is going to play some of the young guys towards the end of the season and in playoff time. So it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens when Chris Middleton comes back. Certainly looking forward to it, just having that third scorer. Got to kind of get comfortable with Giannis and Dame at this point. They're playing really well together, playing well off of each other. Hopefully that's not a situation where, since you have another third option in there, that it just doesn't go back to the confusion that we saw earlier on in the season with Chris Middleton in the lineup. Green Ranger hopping in. What up, Green Ranger? I think Crowder and Pat Connaughton minutes get impacted. There we go. So they agree with you, JT. If Pat Connaughton doesn't shoot well, he shouldn't play. I agree with that. I do agree with that. I think you have Malik Beasley out there for a reason as well. And I will say this about Malik Beasley, too. I know we've been talking about Malik, putting some respect on that man's name, but I think that he's giving his best effort defensively. Look, we didn't bring this guy in to be a lockdown defender, lockdown 3-and-D guy, but I think he's giving you what you need, just obviously being a scorer, but also being able to at least try to stay in front of some of these guys.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. And we've seen Malik Beasley defense. Look, I don't need Malik Beasley to have a great defensive rating. I don't need Malik Beasley to be this tremendous. Can you make a play when we need one, right? Y'all know I'm really biased. I'm an offense guy. I don't really care that much about defense as long as you have enough offensive firepower. Because I will argue with you that you can win an NBA championship with an elite offense and an average defense, but you probably can't win an NBA championship with an elite defense and an average offense. Just today's game, you have to score points. That's how this thing works. So I would 100% die on that hill. But having said that, when we talked about this last show, the biggest change you've seen is not with personnel. Yes, you had the addition of Pat Beverly, right? And he 100% is eyes and ears for everybody on that court. He's a field general, if that's the term you like to use. He is he's another coach on the floor. He literally is. He's that floor general, and he can be that. But effort is everything. That's what's changed. Yes, schematically, a few things have changed as well. But I think effort, right? Motivation, that's important. And, I 100% have seen Malik Beasley look like a competent – I've seen Bobby Portis look like a competent defender at times here, right? And I mean – right? They didn't just get more talent overnight, right? They didn't just acquire more skill in the last week. I think attitude and effort is playing a big part.
Oh yeah, for sure. Charles Miller hops in, says, feels good to get 4 in a row. Hey, look, it feels good for JT and I and Trey.
Sure.
Like, just being able to do these post-game shows with the winning side is a lot more fun and a lot better in terms of the vibes. The vibes are here. Doc Rivers is here. Damian Lillard is here, and the whole Bucks team has it going right now. I'm loving it. I'm loving what I see, and hopefully on a back-to-back, there should be no excuses. A lot of times when we've dropped back-to-backs earlier on in the season, it's, they're on a back-to-back, just relax. Now, tomorrow we should be expecting to get a win, as Charles Miller says, need to get 5 against the Bulls. They're a thorn in our side. Yeah, I would agree. We've got to be better for sure. Green Ranger says, I would force Chris to play tomorrow. The competition really ramps up on Monday for sure. I think it would be good if you can get him out there, but Warren Price said they may not bring him back till Monday, so we'll see on Chris. It is just a situation where maybe a lesser team in the Chicago Bulls, you may just rest him again just to have that weekend of rest, and then you go maybe full go against the Clippers. So once again, we'll see. The Bucks win it 111-99 against the Hornets. 5 out of the last 7 where they've held a team to under 100 points, and those 2 games versus the Hornets tonight, and the 76ers came down to the last possession. It was a little thing where I was looking at it like, all right, we got to stop here. It's under 100. But yeah, it all means the same. The defense has been locking in. They've been great. JT, let's do some game balls. I know Trey said he got Giannis, and that's, I'm not going to say a cop-out because, look, Giannis just does it all. And, you can never go wrong with giving the game ball to Giannis. He was great tonight. He dishing out passes to open shooters. He was scoring the ball at a high level, taking advantage of the size mismatch, just guys not being able to keep up with Giannis, and we love it. We love what Giannis brings. JT, who you got?
You know why I have a hard time giving it to Giannis? Because I feel like you don't even have to watch the game and you can give it to Giannis. Because you already know what he's going to bring because he's just that consistent. He's that guy. You ain't got to watch the game, literally. There hasn't been a single game, maybe I have one where he got ejected or something like that, like where you can just be like, yeah, I'm giving the game ball to Giannis, right? And you literally could blindly give the game ball to Giannis and somebody can check the stat sheet, somebody can check some clips on how and be like, oh, yeah, all right, fine, right? Nobody's going to argue with you. But tonight, you already know who I'm giving the game ball to. Mm-hmm. Giving this thing to my guy, Malik Beasley. Listen, 5 for 9 from 3, 7 for 12 from the field, 19 and 2. Listen, I thought he played well, thought he hit some big shots. When Malik Beasley is rolling, it is a beautiful thing to see. And it really just kind of underscores how much talent we have, especially on that perimeter. And if we get this thing rolling, and we're gonna give anybody work in the playoffs, including that team in Boston.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's going to be tough to stop a team that's just clicking on all cylinders like they have been doing. I'll give it to Bobby Portis. 14 and 10, another double-double for my guy Crazy Eyes, Bobby Portis. He definitely deserves some love, especially after just the whole season. I mean, I think a lot of people, and us included, have been taking accountability of we were people who wanted him gone. We might have wanted him to be moved at the trade deadline because he wasn't bringing that consistency. But since All-Star break, he's been great. I think that he's been finding his groove offensively. There's not as much, I still see a little bit of it, but there's not as much of him just being free reign on offense and trying stuff and being out there on an island and trying to ISO people. I see a lot more cutting. I see a lot more hustle buckets. I see a lot more from Bobby Portis in general. And I think he's been a big reason why you just get that scoring punch from the bench. They had a lot of points scored off the bench. I don't know the exact number, but he contributed to a lot in that. So I'll give it to Bobby Portis tonight. I think he was great. So yeah, I mean, good stuff there. Head to the comments. Doc said Chris is driving to Chicago tomorrow and they will make a decision tomorrow. Okay, so looking like a game time decision for Chris Middleton. But good stuff. Once again, Bucks win it 111-99. Make sure you guys like the video, like the live stream, send it out, tell a friend to tell a friend. Cream City crossover is not going anywhere. We got post game tomorrow night versus the Chicago Bulls. Continue this thing throughout the rest of the season into the playoffs. I'm really excited, JT. I think we're starting to feel the juice of the Cream City crossover. We're starting to pick up some momentum here and really get in touch with some of these Bucks fans, the Bucks fan base. I love it.
Man, 100%. And again, we do this thing because we feel like the Bucks aren't covered in the right way from a national perspective. We feel like I feel like a lot of the national writers that cover the Bucks, literally, they've watched 5 games a year. They really don't know what's going on, right? When Michael Wilbon got on TV, and I love Michael Wilbon, right? Funny story. I can tell you some funny stories with Michael Wilbon. Maybe I do it off air, right? But some stuff you would not expect about your boy. But I think when Mike Wilbon says Bobby Portis is the most important or second most important, was he second or third most important player on his team? It was like, what? Like, what are we doing here, right? Like and when he came out and said that at that point in the season. But we do this thing because we don't feel like this team gets its due. We feel like America's obsessed with the Knicks and Lakers, even though both of those teams at times are trash and it doesn't really matter. So we love interacting with you all and hearing your comments, right? And I really wish we could have like a voicemail line where people could call in and say that, or if people could text in. I mean, yes, we do have comments, but really wish you guys had a chance to interact with you guys more. But man, tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't want. Like it. Subscribe us, right? We read your comments on the air. We do that. And man, we just appreciate you guys for tuning in and giving us a chance to educate, entertain, and talk about the Bucks.
Yeah, there we go. 3 big Bucks fans, and we always have each other's back. One guy can't make the show. We do our thing. We hold it down here on the Cream City crossover. Let's get to our look around. We can go around the NBA first, but we can talk about big news in the college basketball world of women's. Caitlin Clark ends up early, I guess, declaring for the WNBA draft. So we'll hold off on that first. The Thunder in the fourth quarter over the Spurs, 103-100. Suns beating the Rockets 73-57. Heat trailing by 15 to the Nuggets. The Magic beat the Jazz. Nets beat the Hawks. Warriors beat the Knicks. So there's another reason of why, we've been saying that the Warriors are picking it up now, and they're on our schedule in the month of March. So that'll be interesting. And then the Wizards and the Lakers later. So, JT, Caitlin Clark prematurely declared for the WNBA draft. This is big news. This is big news because she's going to Indiana. I mean, we know the Fever have the number 1 pick. We know that she will be selected number 1 overall. But just what are your thoughts, man? Like, she would have gotten a bag coming back to Iowa, probably would have been a lot of money, but she wants to get that professional career rolling. What do you think about it?
I mean, I think the thing about Caitlin Clark is she's such a name. I mean, she's selling out arenas in college. She's going absolutely – I mean, what she's done for the game, especially game of women's basketball, we really haven't seen anything like this where she's literally just selling out. She got people wrapped around the block, 6 blocks, right? That's like that Michael Jackson level where people are just that hyped to watch her play Rutgers, right? To watch her play a random Big Ten team. They're like, oh my God, they're playing Nebraska women's basketball. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna have a line 6, 7, 8 blocks deep to do it. So credit given, right? One thing I like about Caitlin Clark and watching her game, she's like never impacted by what anybody's doing. She's literally going to do her thing, and she's not going to worry about what you're doing. I don't care who you put in front of her. She's like, yeah, listen, right, I'm going to take this shot because I get this look. I don't care, right, schematically. But she seems like an unselfish player. And just what she does, right? I think she's 14 points away from Pistol Pete's
Yep,
the
all-time
right?
scoring record. Yeah,
she's 100% there. Yeah, and credit given, man. She can flat out play. She's going to be the number 1 overall pick. Now, I mentioned this a couple shows ago. Her boyfriend, I think, works for the Pacers. So the Indiana thing, may make some sense, right? They both would be in the same city. Not saying that's why she's leaving, but what's left for her to do in college? We talk about NIL, right? NIL's giving her 800 bands and endorsements, estimated somewhere between almost $1 million a year she's making NIL. One thing I think people forget is she still would keep endorsements, right? They wouldn't be NIL deals, but I would imagine she still would keep endorsements. Plus, she would get a WNBA salary. So I think she still could make a little bit more money. It's not like she's not one of these people who are just getting stuff from an NIL collective, right? Which is a fancy way of saying boosters who are finding ways to just pay people, right? Like, I think national brands would want Caitlin Clark. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think national brands 100% would want Caitlin Clark. So quite honestly, I think she still ends up making a little bit more money as a WNBA player. And if she keeps balling like this, I mean, I don't know what the sellout rate is for WNBA games, but I gotta tell you, man, if you get a player who comes in as a rookie going number 1 overall, and she's on her big Vic, right? She's on her Victor Wembanyama type level of hype. I think it's great for the game of basketball.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And I think, just getting to that professional career, I respect the move 100%. I think we saw a lot of what WNBA can be when you talk about the Steph versus Sabrina competition. Wouldn't be surprised if they build on that in the All-Star break of next year and she gets her shot at maybe a guy like Dame, something like that, which would be awesome. I think just like you said, the boyfriend in Indiana, that might have swayed the decision a little bit. But yeah, I think it's cool that she's really going to get the opportunity to put women's basketball at the forefront of what it should be is the professional league, right? I mean, college basketball, women's college basketball has been great, and it's only getting better. And I think she's definitely a trailblazer in that she's ridiculous. She's a great player. I want to talk about this too. March Madness coming up. You were on hand for a Marquette victory. I think, what was it, Sunday? Something like that. And so, the Wisconsin teams, it's looking like both teams are locks to get into the NCAA tournament. Wisconsin just dropped one at Indiana. That was kind of weird. They had a fire alarm pulled when they were making a run in Assembly Hall, that was wild. So they've now lost 10 games on the season, but their resume does stack up. They will be in the NCAA tournament. But conversely, on the other side, Marquette. You were there. What did you see from this team? They're rolling now. They did get blown out against UConn. No shame in that at UConn, I believe. But now they won 3 of their last 3, picking up into March. What have you seen from that team, and what did you see in person that gives maybe some Marquette fans some optimism about this March Madness? Because they're top 5. They're top 5 in the country.
This Marquette team, the way they move that ball around, especially – and I was slowed a bit by into the hype with Tyler Kolek. Man, this Marquette team has a bunch of ballers, right? You got some guys on the squad that can really, really, really play. I think with this Marquette team, the biggest thing that I think you're chasing at this point, obviously, is consistency. Mm-hmm. You 100% are chasing consistency. And the question that you got to ask yourself, though, is like, can you play, right? With these expectations, can you withstand these expectations, block out all the noise, and show up and ball out, right? Because you have some ballers. People talk about, people talk about Tyler Kolek, right? But David Joplin is also a banger on this team, right? He's another very, very strong player that you have, right? Obviously, Jones is pretty good as well, and I can never pronounce my man's name, but it's like IGA.
Iguodala, there we go.
You got some flat out ballers on this Marquette squad, and you 100% have to give credit to them. But I think the thing is how do you stay mentally focused and locked in and say, okay, listen, the time for losing is done, because in about 3 games, that's it. It's lose and go home at that point, right? You lose in your Big East tournament, all right. You got to wait to the NCAA tournament. And at that point, it's lose and go home too. So I think staying focused, staying consistent. Now you have a potential injury to Tyler Kolek, right? I think his oblique, something's wrong with him.
Yeah, I think so.
He has an oblique, he has an abdominal strain. Listen, man, basketball's a sport where you're running up and down the court. If that's hurting, you're gonna feel that. You 100% gonna feel that. You can't just shoot that up, right? That's not one of those things where you take the cortisone shot to your abdominal and keep that thing pushing. And that gets scary, because a lot of times when you think it's an abdominal strain, then you find out, oh, maybe this is a hernia, maybe this is something else. Now you have a big issue. So really, for Marquette at this point, they got to figure out what's up with Tyler, because this Marquette team is good, but if you don't have Tyler Kolek, you're rough. Yeah, you're not top 5 good.
Yeah, he makes that thing go. I think he's one of the best passers in all of college basketball, probably the best point guard in college basketball. It would definitely be first-team All-American, you got to assume. I think if he's not healthy, it's really going to be tough on other guys like Cam Jones. They did have an ACL. I think it was a knee injury, maybe ACL, to one of their other point guards who was really expected to have a good year in Sean Jones, who's out for the season now. So depth is kind of slim there. But, hey, to be a Wisconsin basketball fan regardless, I think you're very optimistic about this NCAA tournament, because this thing is wide open. They're playing, obviously, Marquette and Wisconsin, but both teams are playing in very competitive leagues. They're going to be battle-tested. They're going to be ready to at least try to make a run in the NCAA tournament. I really loved what Wisconsin has been able to do, bringing in a guy from St. John's like AJ Storr, who he's a bucket, and that's it's not really traditional, I guess, for Wisconsin to go and grab somebody out of the portal and just give them the keys to your offense right away. But we've seen it work with AJ Storr, so they get some of their other pieces going. Klesmit, Hepburn, guys like that who have kind of been question marks throughout their college basketball career. The consistency is not there as well. Like, if they can get those guys going, if both teams can get favorable draws in the NCAA tournament, it should be a good March for basketball fans. Should be a good March for Bucks fans as well. Hopefully, we carry this thing on. 4-game win streak now. Doc Rivers got this team rolling. JT, any final words before we get out of here?
Well, what I'll say about Wisconsin is Wisconsin has a chance, really fast. Wisconsin has a chance to play, not necessarily spoiler, but they had a chance to really make some noise in this last 3 games. You got an Illinois team that's ranked 13th. You got Rutgers and you got Purdue. There's a chance. Wisconsin could win all 3 of these games, and that would be absolutely huge when it comes to building momentum, especially going into the postseason. So, listen, I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's possible that it does happen, especially if this Wisconsin team gets out there and balls. And, you look at a Wisconsin team that gets hot at the right time, wins these last 3 games. they're going to make noise in that Big Ten tournament. They 100% are going to go to that Big Ten tournament, all the confidence in the world. You look at them, they get in that Big Ten tournament, they end up with a decent decent seed and a decent bracket, and all of a sudden they're off to the races in the big dance.
Yeah, I think both teams. I think Marquette's probably around a 3 or a 2 seed at this moment, and Wisconsin's firmly locked in at that 5 seed. Look, I've been following that 5 to 6 to maybe 4 seed line because the Dayton Flyers are up there too, and it's hard when Wisconsin just has such a great resume. Even though they've taken some tough losses on the road, it's the Big Ten, man, and it's a competitive conference, and they're not going to drop much if they lose tight road games. So I think that, if they can obviously win those 3 games, I mean, they could be pushing a 4 seed at that point, and that would just make your draw in the tournament a lot more favorable in March Madness. So good stuff there. The Bucks win it 111-99. JT, final words on the Bucks.
Hey, man. Beautiful win, 4-game win streak, third straight win in double digits or more. Let's look for this momentum to continue tomorrow night. Belt to Ass tour stops in Chicago tomorrow night. So, man, that's it, Bucks fans. Enjoy this W tonight. Let's get another one. Let's go into the weekend, have a great time, and we'll see you bright and early. We'll see you tomorrow night, late night. Come catch us coming home from the bar. Catch us when you're in your Uber. Catch us if you can't get any sleep. Catch us if you're staying up late watching that Bucks game. We'll be here for you.
Yep, or catch us on the replay. Look, we got it. We got it all. We got it all in the Cream City crossover. I would just like to say, belt to ass. Hopefully Pat Bev is not making any stops at Barstool Chicago and shooting free throws and stuff like that after the game. Let's get his ass back to Milwaukee so we can head out west. So yeah, it'll be good. Excited. I love the way that they played tonight. Ball was moving. The Bucks they played like the better team. This should not be a trap game ever against the Charlotte Hornets at this moment in time, and they didn't let that happen. The Hornets kind of made a run at the end, but the Bucks just too powerful, and that's what you want to see coming out of the All-Star break from a team that has high expectations, from a team that was getting highly criticized. So this has been a Cream City Media Group production. Once again, I want to thank our sponsors, Law Office of Daley M. Johnson. When you need defense off the court, hit up my guy Daley M. Johnson for all your OWI traffic defense needs or whatever. He's got you covered in the Wisconsin area. So, that's it for me, Chris King.
Hey, T.
Hey, don't take no wood.